Good morning. If we can have everybody come up front, come closer, please, if you don't mind. Director for Georgia Wand. We are the host and facilitator of this candidate forum this morning. We are an environmental nonprofit. Most people know us. We've been in the CSRA and the Burke County community for a number of years now. We're based in Atlanta and we have offices here in Burke County and Waynesboro. So we're so happy to do this candidate forum. We do annual meet and greets and candidate forums at least once a quarter, so that participants, residents, and community stakeholders can know and be informed about not only the issues that are concerning you, but the elected officials that represent you. So with that, I would be remiss if I don't introduce my colleagues, Renetta Stokes-Johnson, who is our Community Education Director, our Deputy Director, Janie Scott, if you don't mind raising your hand. We have Raven Rowe here, social media content creator, as well as Clark Atlanta student. We have our moderator, Ashley Jones from WRDW, Channel 12, and our timekeeper, Aaliyah Kemp. So thank you so much for being here. Please make sure that you ask very informed questions. We actually have a variety of races represented here. Our governor's race, our state school superintendent, Superior Court Judge of Richmond-Burke County, School Board District 2. So please make sure, and if there are any other races, candidates that enter in, we will acknowledge you toward the end. But right now, Ms. Renetta, if you can come up, please. Ms. Renetta is going to provide the framework for the rest of our candidate forum, and I just want to make sure that she has some words. Thank you.
Good morning. I was outside looking for my governor candidate, but there he is. So this morning, again, Kim has already told you why we are here, but we're going to have candidates to come up. We will call you in groups according to what you're running for, and we have Ms. Ashley who will be giving you the questions, and you get to state your platform and answer questions from the audience, okay? There's a timekeeper, so she will give you the time frame that you have to state your platform and take questions from the audience. Thank you. We're going to have Ken come first. We're going to have Ken, the state school superintendent. We're going to have Superior Court Judge Alexis. You can sit at either table because you're all running for different offices, so you got to tell your platform and what you all about and what you bring to the table for us, okay?
Good morning, everybody. Just want to say thank you for having me in the first place. I don't have the name recognition the other candidates do. I don't raise the money. I've only raised $17,000 this entire campaign, traveling the state, working a real job on Tybee Island. I'm in the Georgia Army National Guard. And of those $17,000, I've donated $6,000 to nonprofits or charities, and then $5,000 went to my filing fee. So I'm running on a less than shoestring budget. So what I like to start off by telling people is, you haven't heard my name because I'm not supposed to be up here. For the same reason you're not supposed to be up here. Because you don't have millions of dollars behind you. You can't enter the race and loan yourself $10 or $50 million. You don't have lobbyists or political action committees behind you. And I don't want that. I don't need that. I don't want that. I've been in the Army for over 14 years now, active duty for 4 years, been in the Guard for over 10, and I'm a server and bartender on Tybee Island. People ask me what qualifies me to run for office and run for governor. And I don't have the political experience, you're right. But that's not what makes a governor. What makes a governor is knowing what the people need and what the people are going through every day. And I see that. Now, if I talk about another candidate, I'm not trashing that candidate. Don't get me wrong. If I had the money, I'd probably spend it too. But the week that Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones announced his campaign, he loaned himself $10 million. 3 days later, I was on my way home from work to get some stuff to meal prep, so I stopped by Kroger. And I was behind, because I'm a real guy. And I stopped at Kroger, and I was behind a gentleman in a walker with a 6-pack of eggs and a loaf of bread. And I only noticed because he had white bread, and I was thinking, oh, he should have wheat bread. But the biggest thing I noticed is, as he was paying, his card declined. Buying a 6-pack of eggs and a loaf of bread. I can't put money in that guy's pocket. But what I can do is, just like every other candidate who gets elected to office, we have advisors. We don't make all decisions ourselves. So I'm going to surround myself with all the same advisors that the other candidates would. And if you're a fan of a Republican candidate, Burt Jones, Rick Jackson, any of the other ones, or you're a fan of any of the Democratic candidates, Mr. Derek Jackson, Ms. Keisha Lance, I'll have them come work for me. How about that? But the difference between me and the other candidates is when I make my ultimate decision, I'm going to be thinking about that guy whose card declined buying a 6-pack of eggs and a loaf of bread. I also don't talk about my military service like I'm some kind of hero. I've deployed to Afghanistan 3 times, 4th deployment to the Middle East in 2024, but there are a lot of people who have done a lot more than me. Something I talk about my service for, though, is something not positive. If you've been in the military, you know somebody in the military, you know that addiction and mental health is rampant in the military. I struggle with alcohol addiction. I'm 2 years sober, and 5 years ago I tried to take my own life. I've been to that point. I've been to that point where a lot of Americans are today. They don't talk about it. I'm guessing you've never heard a politician get up and say they tried to take their lives 5 years ago, and they struggle with addiction. I want people to know that I'm not just going out to Republican events. I'm not just going out to Democrat events. I'm not just going out to political events. You know what? My base voter isn't going to be a Republican primary voter. I'm the first Republican to say the White House is awful right now. I wish more Democrats said the same thing for 4 years when Joe Biden was president, because I don't think the economy was great under him either. If anything, the White House makes our lives worse no matter who's in there. They don't wake up every day and ask, how can we make Georgians' lives better? That's going to be my job. And as somebody who's in the military, struggles with mental health, and still works a real job, I'm the only candidate that I think is qualified because I see those people. I see every person. And when I make my ultimate decision on whatever the issue is, I will be thinking about that person who's sitting at home thinking their life is over, and I'll be thinking about that guy whose card declined buying a 6-pack of eggs and a loaf of bread.
All right, Mr. Esther, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, we're moving now to Anton Anthony. He is a candidate for state school superintendent.
Let the church say amen. Amen again. Amen one more time. I always go to places and I say that, but it's good to be in the house of the Lord. So I thank God for just being here. So I'm going to give you my introduction speech first, and then we're going to talk like I'm from Waynesboro. My name is Dr. Anton Anthony, and currently I am the proud superintendent of Hancock County Schools. I've been a teacher in Burke County. I've been an assistant principal. I've been a principal. I've been a district office employee in DeKalb County, and as well as a superintendent in Hancock County Public Schools. The reason why I'm running is because Georgia Department of Education, as well as Governor's Office of Student Achievement, they label schools as failures, and they do not offer the support. If I was a teacher, which all of you are in my classroom, and I say this all the time, if this side was failing and this side, you guys were passing, as a teacher, a good teacher, what am I supposed to do? Reteach to make sure that this side has mastered the standard. This is what Georgia Department of Education is supposed to be doing, and this is what they're not doing. And this is why I'm running. If you can solve a problem and you know the problem and you refuse to do something about the problem, you are a part of it. I refuse to be in the system and know the issues and not do anything to fix them. And that's why I'm running today, to offer real supports to students, because every student is different, every school is different, and every district is different. And we need someone in place to offer those real supports. Now, I'm born and raised in Waynesboro. My church is on Martin Luther King Boulevard, next to Magnolia Acres. I'm here every Sunday. And I thank God just for being here today. It's good to be here in front of friends and family. I'm looking at Ms. Payton. I taught under her tutelage, 6th grade social studies. But I'm here today because I was one of those students that struggled in school. And I was one of those students that I refused to let go by and no one offered those support. And it's not just about Burke County, it's not about Hancock, but I've been all over the state of Georgia and I've seen those districts, that's rural districts, and no support is offered to them. When you go to Atlanta, you go to those public schools, they have magnet schools, they have all those charter schools and offer those supports, but our students that's in our rural counties, they suffer. And that's why I'm running, to offer those real supports. That's it. My name is Dr. Anton Anthony, running for state superintendent, and I would love to have your support. Thank you.
Next up, we have Alexia Payne running for Superior Court Judge. Good morning. My name is Alexia Payne, and as you have just heard, I'm running for Superior Court Judge in Richmond and Burke County. That is the court that touches our families. It handles felonies that are criminal cases that carry a penalty of more than 1 year, and it also handles divorces, child custody, legitimations, and child support cases. Superior Court is the court that determines who stays in our community and who leaves. It's a court that determines who has access to our children, who is raising our children, and who influences them. I've been working as an attorney for the past 20 years. I came to Augusta straight out of law school as a public defender. I worked at the public defender's office for 12 years. I handled cases in Richmond, Columbia, Burke counties. I represented people during their most challenging times. I stood next to them, and I stood in front of a court that only listened sometimes. I stood next to them when they were facing life sentences, when they were facing time in custody, when they were looking at 1 year to serve, when they were looking at 5 years to serve. And what I know is how important the decision the court makes, that it doesn't just impact the one person that's standing in front of the judge. There's a ripple effect. That person is someone's child, it's someone's father, it's someone's brother. We are all connected. Not one of us stands here alone. And I'm running because we're in a state of emergency. I can't wait for somebody else to be the change that I want to see. I'm running because they don't want me to. I'm running because, and why don't they want me to? Because I'm a threat to the system as it currently is. Because I represent change. Because I came here, not from here, wanting to make changes here. And I got to work. I've been working for the past 20 years. I've been serving our community. I've been working with our children to make sure that they don't end up in front of the court. I want to continue doing that work on the bench. We have an opportunity to serve more people. The three issues that bring our families in front of the court, aside from the custody issues, are education, addiction, and economics. And we have accountability courts, but they're not serving enough people. We used to have over 100 people in our accountability courts, and now we have a third of that. We have capacity to serve more people. We need to be treating more people with addiction issues. We need to be treating more people with mental health issues. We need to be serving more veterans in our community. Strong families make strong communities. And I'm running because we need a change in this community, and it can't wait for somebody else to do it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to all of our candidates. We will now take questions from our audience, okay? Does anyone in our audience have any questions for the candidates?
One in the back. One in the back.
Okay, 1 second. And so when you get the mic, please state your name, and then you can ask which candidate what questions after them.
Okay, my name is Betty Ann Hart. Ms. Payne, your last statement concerned me about the decrease in people who are sentenced to accountability courts. And so that's one of the issues in Burke County that we're looking at now. If we were to go to another judicial circuit that did not offer accountability courts, what do you attribute to the decrease in people who are sentenced or going to accountability courts, such as mental health courts, that are an alternative to prison or jail?
So I want to address two things that you said. I have worked in some of the adjacent circuits. So I've worked in some of those other circuits, and I've been in front of those judges. And I know that I would rather practice, I would rather have my clients seen by the courts and the judges that are right here than any of those judges in any of the other circuits. The sentencing that comes out of there is much harsher. There's even less concern for the people that are in front of the court than the judges that we have on the bench right now. The other issue is that our accountability courts, the judge that is handling that case, attorneys aren't sending their clients to accountability court. They do not think that they're going to be successful in those courts. The judge that is handling that has an opportunity when what they call they staff cases. So they look at what are the reasons for people potentially violating the conditions of their sentence. The courts themselves, the accountability courts, are designed to be sensitive to the issues that people have. They're designed to be sensitive to the fact that people may relapse when they are battling drug addiction. They're designed to be sensitive to the fact that people may not always take their medications when they're struggling with mental health issues. But we are not currently actually taking those things into account. And so when we're not sensitive to those issues in the way that we should be, when people come in front of the court for violations or for sanctions, we send them to prison instead of addressing the issue. And so people aren't going into accountability courts because they are not being treated. The issues aren't actually being addressed. And so we have people that are just going to prison. If people are going to prison, then they're like, why would I recommend my client to go through a program that is not going to actually help them to be successful? And so if we're not being successful in the program, why do we send people to the program? If we have a different judge in that position, which would be me, right? And when I'm elected, that would be me. I would actually be sensitive to the issues that people are and have, be mindful, make sure their voice is heard, and really understand why they have had the issue that has brought them, and act accordingly. Thank you.
Good afternoon, or morning still, I think. My name's Jared Williams. I'm the district attorney. Nice to see everybody. I just want to say that I appreciate the fact that you're talking about addressing the reasons that people come to the system itself, because so often we see the same people over and over again, and we keep sentencing them, but we're not actually addressing why they came to the court in the first place. And so if what I'm hearing from you is that you're going to address people's needs and actually get to the heart of why they're offending, then I really love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I have one for the governor candidate. What do you see as a great need in the rural communities, and how will you address them, especially economically wise? And so tell me what you do for them economically, because, as you know, most jobs just pay minimum wages, but the cost of everything is going up, and so their households are hurting financially. What type of programs or what would you initiate to try to help them financially?
So I first off want to say that I would show up. These other candidates don't come to the rural communities. There's Lieutenant Governor candidate on the Republican side. I don't name names, but he got recorded saying he doesn't want a governor or lieutenant governor that's not from Atlanta. If you can't pick out 585, or if you can't pick out 75 on a map, he doesn't want you as your governor. Atlanta doesn't run Georgia. I've walked across the state 4 times, physically put a rucksack on with the American flag on my shoulder, and I've walked across the state 3 times from Savannah to Atlanta. I've come through Waynesboro, went up to Athens, down to Atlanta, and the second time I went from Atlanta down to Waycross up to Savannah. People ask me why. It's because I want those rural communities to see me. Who's heard of Deep Step, Georgia before? It's more than usual. Deep Step, Georgia is a street. The city hall and the library are the same building. I see those people. I live in Savannah. People act like Atlanta and Savannah run the state. That's not what happens. Deep Step in 2026 has an estimated population of 112 people. Those people are running Georgia. Those 112 people matter, but politicians don't go there because there's no money there, there's no votes there. Well, I see those as people. I don't need to just see you as a vote. So showing up is number 1. Second, I do want to eliminate the state income tax. We hear that from a lot of politicians, and they just don't have solutions for it. But we also have $34 billion in corporate welfare every year. That Honda plant in Bryan County had up to $7 million in fines because they ruined the water supply. The state of Georgia, in the, quote, best interest of the people, settled for $30,000. Why do we have a state income tax? That's one of the reasons, because we're giving corporations too much welfare while people are struggling. I want to also cap property taxes. We can't eliminate property taxes yet because that's a local issue, and these localities need the money. So I want to cap property taxes on the way to elimination so people aren't taxed out of their homes. We have to help these counties and cities find new funds for those the lost revenue. And I'd also like to cut a bunch of the red tape that our farmers have. We shouldn't be limiting our farmers to what they can do. It's our farmers are who run the state. Without our agriculture, I'm not a farmer, but I want to bring them in to talk to them about what we can do to fix the issue. Not some farmers union leader. I want to bring in farmers, the ones who are on their tractor every single day, who the union bosses, they're just a political leader now too, so they don't actually talk to the farmers. But the most important thing is showing up. I will be there. I will be there talking to people, no matter who it is, where you're at. Thank you. I hope that answered your question.
All right, now moving to State School Superintendent candidate Dr. Anthony, I have a question for you. What are some of the biggest challenges do you feel that our schools in rural areas are facing, and how do you plan to address those challenges?
Inequity of funding. So I serve as Hancock County School Superintendent, and it's one of the poorest communities in the state of Georgia. And it's not just Hancock, it's Stewart, it's Randolph Clay, it's Dooley. And so when you serve on those in those communities, we don't have any industry. We don't have a big tax bracket of people, because when you raise millage rate, you are raising the taxes of a grandmother that doesn't have a job, that's on a fixed income. And so there's an inequity of funding in the state of Georgia when it relates to our kids in poverty. And those are the things that I'll fight for when you relate talking to the governor, talking to the people in the legislative acts, because when you have students in poverty, the biggest issue is we come into school, the kids come into school without being able to read. Have you ever heard of just 30% of our kids in 3rd or 4th graders are reading on grade level? It's because they come in without the resources. Those parents in those neighborhoods of poverty, they don't read to their kids. The parents have to work. So they're not having dinner with their parents, and they're talking and having a conversation. So it's an inequity of funding, it's an inequity of one thing that personal to me. As a state superintendent, I applied for a grant. It's called the 21st Century Grant. And the state superintendent, do you know we were denied for a sheet of paper? And that's why I'm running. Because in order for us to really move students in an area of poverty, there has to be an extended time of after school, before school, summer school. And that grant was a grant that, if we would have qualified, would have moved the needle with our students. So those are the things that we're fighting for. Equity in funding, equity in after school, equity in federal funding. Those are the things that we're not getting in those rural districts that it's available for inner city, but it's not for us.
Thank you, Dr. Anthony. So again, these were your candidates. We had Alexia Payne running for Superior Court Judge. We had Dr. Anton Anthony running for State School Superintendent. And then we had Mr. Kenny Assiter running for Georgia Governor. Thank you all. I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Ms. Renessa.
Ms. Ashley, there's one more question for the governor.
Okay. Who is that?
My name is Dr. Cynthia Grant. I have a question for you. So as you talked about cutting the taxes, if you do that, then where's the revenue going to come from to help fund the counties and the cities?
So the state income tax, we get $16 billion in state income tax every year, the revenue. We give $34 billion in corporate welfare. We just cut the corporate welfare in half. We now have a surplus of $1 billion. Basic math. And people ask me, we're the best state to do business in, so what if the businesses leave? Bye. I care about our teachers, our farmers, our veterans more than I do these millionaires and billionaires that come into our state and take our money. So I'm not going to give these corporations money just to come here to do business. It's a privilege to. I'm not from Georgia. I'm from Illinois originally. My dad was in the Air Force for 24 years. I've been here 14 years. Thank God, because of the military. God graced me by allowing me to be stationed here, and then I stayed here and joined the Guard. It's a privilege to live in Georgia. We are the best state in the country, and I don't just say that. I stayed here for a reason. I serve this state for a reason, because we are the best state to do business in. Companies are going to want to come here. But I do want, as somebody who struggles with alcohol addiction, it doesn't mean I don't want you to be able to drink alcohol, so why is marijuana illegal? I want regulatory legalization of marijuana. We should stop putting kids in prison for smoking a plant. I don't smoke, I'm in the military, but that's some more tax revenue coming in. Lottery tickets, we don't tax lottery tickets. We only tax the winnings. That's kind of crazy to me. That's some more funding that can go to education and just to make up for the lost revenue. We have so much, and then our tobacco tax in Georgia is one of the lowest in the country. Why? Because the tobacco lobby is here, and they're in the pockets of all of our politicians. Well, luckily, I've only raised $17,000. I promise you, nobody's in my pockets. So I'm not talking about I'm not saying anything bad about the other candidates, but Republican or Democrat on either side, I'm the only one who has not taken any money from anyone who can tell me what to do. I guarantee that. So the lost revenue will come up because we're going to cut those corporate welfare, legalize marijuana, expand legalized gambling, tax the heck out of those, and that's where we can help the local communities with the property taxes as well. We can give them grants from the state to help on the way to eliminating property taxes, because like I said, people shouldn't be taxed out of their houses and homes. So thank you.
Okay, we want to give them a round of applause. They were good. And now we're going to call up the next group. We're going to have, for Congress, Soretta Smith, Tracy George. And we are also going to have Jackie Payton for school board and Larry Preston for school board. The school board is for Burke County, and do I have 2 more seats? Okay, so then we're going to call up those for solicitor, Mr. Franklin Matt, Burke County. For the state court system solicitor and Attorney Andrew Palmer. If you're not speaking at the time, make sure your mic is off so we don't get the echo. Put it on mute, please.
And then give us your platform. You will have 3 to 5 minutes. Once we get to that 5-minute mark, I will have to cut you off, okay? All right, starting from left to right.
Good morning, Burke County. How are you all this morning? Good, good. My name is Soretta Smith, and I am running for Georgia's 12th Congressional District. Just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a grandmother, I'm a proud United States Army veteran. I served in the Army for 8 years, married a soldier. I followed him for 16 years, supported his career. So I got the best of both worlds. I got to be a soldier, and I got to be the wife of a soldier. I'm a former council member. I served 2 terms on city council in the city of Grovetown, Georgia. I am a labor, civil, and human rights activist. I'm a member of the American Federation of Government Employees. If you've been keeping up with what's going on in Washington, D.C., my union has been holding the line. They have been standing there and fighting with the current administration and keeping them from completely overthrowing our government. So I'm proud to be a part of the union. I'm also a licensed and ordained minister, so it's dangerous to give a preacher a microphone and give him 5 minutes. I don't know how this is going to work out, but we're going to run on to see what the end's going to be. And I'm also a small business owner. We have been telling people in the last 3 presidential elections that this is the most important election of our lifetime. We do that, we say that to motivate people to get out and vote, but I want to submit to you that these midterms are the most important elections of our lifetime. Right now we have lost the balance of power and accountability in our government. And I'm running because I've been doing this work for nearly 2 decades. I lobbied Congressman John Barrow and worked with him alongside my union when he was in office. And I lobbied and have tried to work alongside the current incumbent during his tenure. And in 2015, when we went into his office, because we were there advocating for veterans, federal government employees, and working Georgians, we felt dismissed. We didn't feel heard. We felt like a box was just checked. And I walked out of that office in 2015, and I said, one day I'm going to run for that seat. And so everything that I've been doing from that point until now has prepared me to stand here before you today and ask for your vote to become your next Congresswoman. I have co-signed with an organization called Take Back Congress. We met in D.C. last week, and we have 5 pillars that we believe are going to be crucial to taking back power and bringing accountability back. Number 1, term limits. We believe in term limits. It is a bipartisan issue. We believe that no one should be in Congress for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? The second thing that we believe is that Congress members should not be allowed to trade stocks. Public service should not be a pathway to financial wealth, right? The third thing that we believe is there should be a 5-year moratorium on when congressional leaders can leave office and come back and open up their consulting firms and give their access and their influence to people for large amounts of money. We need to close the door of the access and the influence that they're giving to people to come in and change the laws. The fourth thing that we believe is we need to get rid of Citizens United. That 2010 decision allowed dark money to infiltrate our politics. And we need to get all of the big $1 billion and the corporations and the dark money out of our politics. And the last thing that we believe is that we need a code of ethics for the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the highest office law in the land, and they have shown us that they will sell out our American citizens for a political ideology and for personality. And so until we restore the balance of power and bring accountability back, we can't talk about the important issues of our district: veterans, health care in our rural areas, education, the Department of Education being defunded, rural communities needing infrastructure and all of those things, our farmers and all of the support that we need. But I've been doing the work. I know the people, I have the connections, I've built the relationships, and I'm ready to go to Washington, D.C. and do the real work for the people of Georgia's 12th Congressional District. My name is Soretta Smith, and I hope for your vote. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Matthew Franklin. Can you hear me? I'm the Solicitor General of Burke County. I've been the Solicitor General of Burke County since 2015. I'm from Burke County. Went to school at Blakeney, the middle school, Burke County High School, graduated in 1998. Probably went to school with some of your family. My mom and dad were teachers for the Burke County Board of Education. They probably either taught you or some of your family as well. I have been the solicitor since 2015, as I said, and it's been an honor and a privilege to serve Burke County. We work with individuals rather than just try to punish them and put them in jail. The majority of the defendants that come in our court, we do not put them in jail. We put them on probation, and we try to find the rehabilitation that they need to prevent them from further committing any crimes or finding themselves in felony court. With suspended license charges, as Ms. Payne said earlier, we're one of the circuits that is more lenient on those types of charges than just about any other circuit in Georgia. If you get charged with suspended license outside of this circuit, it does not matter if you have your license when they sentence you or you're about to have your license when they sentence you. They will sentence you and resuspend your license. I can tell you right now, our office has, I would say, probably close to 50 to 60 cases where we have continued the cases to give people time to work on their license. So we don't resuspend their license. Accountability courts. I'm there at accountability court 2 times a month, every time we have it. There are conditions where we put somebody in accountability court with DUI. The first question I ask on anybody that has a DUI charge, have they been referred to accountability court? Now, if accountability court rejects them and does not accept them, there's nothing we can do. But we always refer anybody charged with a DUI to accountability court to help rehabilitate them. Pretrial intervention. We do have pretrial intervention. We also have conditional discharge. A lot of times when somebody's charged with, and it's their first crime, we will put them into pretrial intervention. We will put them into conditional discharge. And if they are successful, then it doesn't go on their record. Again, I've been doing this since 2015. We also have a serious backlog of school bus citations, school zone citations. I have been working relentlessly to try to work on the backlog to get that situation under control. So I work hard for Burke County. I've been working hard for Burke County. Again, I consider it an honor and a privilege to help people, and I sure would appreciate your help come election time. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I don't think I need this mic. If you say I need it, I'm going to use it because I do need you to hear me today. I don't want to talk about my credentials. I want to talk about transparency. In this community, there are 3 critical issues that are dealing with our school system that are being circulated. You know, journalists always tell a story, right, Ashley? They tell the who, the what, the where, the when, the why, and the how. In this county, or in most places, people get the what, but they don't get the who, the where, the when, and the why. And as school board representative District 2, I want people to know one thing that is being circulated is that we on the promise list, and yes, we are. But I want you to know our commitment to the promise list. We have already put into action. Our curriculum directors, they've engineered instructional maps. But I want you to know why we're on that list, and I think Dr. Anthony related to it, is because it was designated through the governor's office, the Office of Student Achievement, that the schools in the lowest 25%. Well, that's a challenge, but it's also an opportunity because of the fact that we can partner with them and they can help us with resources and other things to help make our education here in Burke County much higher and much better. We are not here to hold children back. We are here to push children forward. So, yeah, we on the promise list. Okay, number 2, my timekeeper out here, 2 here but 1 over there. The second thing that is being talked about is that grades have been changed. Yes, grades have been changed, but do you know why? They were changed because juniors and seniors who were in dual enrollment, their grades were not weighted properly according to our policy. When that was discovered, we had to go back, not only go back and change or calculate. I hate the word change in this situation. To calculate the grades correctly according to our policy. That was to protect the children, to protect their transcripts, as well as to move our children forward in the future. The third thing I want to talk to you about is this is March, which is the season for contracts to go out. They are talking about how teachers are being transitioned. Well, that's a part of the operation of the school system. We want the best for our children, so we have to do what is better to protect our children. And if you remember now, I said the who, what, where, why. But I didn't tell you that Matthew, Mark, and Luke talks about you can't put new wine into old. All right now. So in order to do things, to make things better for Burke County, we are doing what is better. Now, if you want to talk some more about it, meet me after the meeting. But I do want you to know I am in this to win it. I want to be reelected because I am guided by experience, and I love the children and the families and the community of Burke County. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Tracy George, and I need to hear you say home. No. I need you to say home like it is the last thing that you need to defend. Come on, home. I then need you to say home like you're going to go on May 19th and vote for Tracy George because she's going to bring the respect. I thank you. I will become your next United States Congresswoman of the Georgia's 12th District. The reason I am in this race is just because of that. The kitchen table issues at my home are similar to your home, similar to your home. And we need a fighter that's going to then bring respect back. It's just that simple, folks. Just that simple. We've gone ahead and had proven leadership in this county. You already know me, relationship. I've worked with you in various organizations, establishing what we need across the Georgia 12th District. I've toured 24 counties within this district, and I do not plan on stopping of re-seeing every single one of my constituents and listening to them as they're telling me directly, Tracy, we know you are the individual who will bring respect back home to us. I've been mentored by a many who are already sitting in Washington, D.C. and sitting in the highest seats here in our land of Georgia, and they see as well a proven leader who can bring respect back home. I'm glad you asked. Now, what does home mean? For me, I have 3 babies. I'm a former educator. I'm a former military spouse of 15 years, and we are dedicated and proven to this leadership as well. My kids wake up every morning counting literature and brochures. They've been boots on the ground since they've been knee-high. They've run protest marches. They understand what bringing respect truly means. We've then broken home down just for you. Health care, opportunities, military and veterans families, and education. Each one of those, if you were to go to my website, tracygeorge.net, you will be able to pick up and see the legislative platforms that I've assisted in writing to get some of these things passed for us. Another reason I'm running, as we've already seen in history right now, respect is not coming back home because they have forgotten us. We saw just then the Congress wanted to go ahead and they voted for TSA agents not to get a pay raise. For once, I stood behind a Donald Trump because he at least signed the paper, but now he wanted to go sign some dollar bills too. Forgetting what's going on at the kitchen table of, come on and say it with me. Again, I'm Tracy George, and I will become your next United States Congresswoman with your support. You're already holding my card in your hand. Go ahead and grab it. Look at it real hard. Tracy George, you have it. It's an Empowerment for Women card. If you then look on the back, it has a mailing thing. You can put it in the mail and let somebody else know that this is the way that we are going to bring respect. Say it with me. Home. Tracy George loves you so very much. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Larry Preston. I'm here today to let everybody know that I am committed since childhood from my parents telling me, be all you can be. And every time I've stepped out in the community and I see the older generation, I had to make myself look more popular and figure to understand that life is real. And when I approach the community, I had to get respect. First of all, I had to give respect to earn it. And when I see you all, I raise my respect up to everybody. So I came along and I was approached my last term on this school board, and I looked at it, it was God sent to me to be there, because in my entire life of 18, I spent at the recreation working with kids. And that's all I ever knew, is to love kids, talk to kids, and get them to understand that education is the first thing that they need. I didn't teach sports. I taught them respect one another, understand one another, and everything else will fall in place. Coach Anthony, Dr. Anthony, he was a coach there. I joined him. And one thing I never told the coach, that his job is to yell, but my job was to come back and pull that kid to the side and tell him, that's his job. My job is to keep your mind set to understand what he's telling you for you to be better in the future. So as of today, I picked myself up a little higher because I had to come here in the Lord's church to speak to you all. I'm a father of 4. And believe me, everybody tells me I did a good job. That's a good feeling. So when I get back to the school board, I'm going to do everything possible to make sure these kids get the proper education, the commitment that they will graduate on a higher level, not a 5th grade level, a higher level, 12th grade. Even if I can slide a little college in there, acknowledgement on them to make them want to go to college. But you got to have respect, accountability, and understanding. And as long as we got that, we can move anywhere across Georgia we want to go. And I support this young guy over here for staying in Georgia. I support Dr. Anthony for staying in Georgia. We don't need our kids going to California, Arizona, all that just to explore themselves. We have the talent right here in Burke County for these kids to explore Burke County. So I'm here asking for your vote to put me back at that Board of Education with accountability. Thank you.
All right, I thank you to all of our candidates, and now we'll go ahead and take any questions from the audience. Again, if you are asking a question, just state your name, then go ahead with your question.
Hi, my name is Charles Grant. I'm not from Burke County. I'm from the state of Kentucky. I don't know who's who up here. I don't know who's running against who, and I need to figure this out. So if I can go from left to right, who are you running against?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is this on? Hey, I'm Andy Palmer. I'm running for Burke County State Court Solicitor, and thank you for asking that, Charles. I am running against Mr. Franklin, who's seated here 2 chairs down from me. He's the current solicitor. I'm running against Matt Franklin. That's Andy Palmer for Burke County State Court Solicitor.
Thank you. And ma'am, Ms. Smith?
Yes, sir. I'm running for Georgia's 12th Congressional District. There are currently 4 candidates that are running in the Democratic primary. So the Democratic primary will be in May, and whoever comes out as the Democratic nominee in May will then face there's a primary as well on the Republican ticket. They will then face the winner of the primary for the Republican ticket.
So you're not running against anyone up at this table right now?
Yes. Ms. George is one of the 4 candidates that is running for this particular seat. Yes,
Which
sir.
one is Ms. George? You? Tracy George. Home. Okay, I got you.
Yes, I'm Matthew Franklin. I'm the Solicitor General of Burke County. I've been the Solicitor General since 2015. And you live in Burke County now?
I do.
Oh, okay. Well, congratulations. Glad to have you. Charles?
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Charles.
You as well.
I'm Jackie. I am running for District 2 Board seat again. I am running against Larry Preston. I ran against him once before, and I'm running against him again. Amen. And remember now, we are all better together.
Good morning once again. My name is Tracy George. I will become your next United States Congresswoman. I am running for a seat that is held by an incumbent who does not then represent the people. I am then running against the incumbent. I set out my status, and my platform from the beginning to be directly correlated to what he has done, because he's holding that seat. And then with God's hand, he has placed me conveniently. When we did my announcement for this seat on February the 2nd, it was not by happenstance. I'm a smart lady, went to Princeton University. I know how to write a press release. I never did one. I just put up a simple little Facebook post. MSNBC and CNN, they announced that I was running against Rick Allen, a local woman. Tracy George, bring the respect home. Thank you.
Yes, I'm Larry Preston. I'm also the one running against Ms. Payton in District 2 for the seat of Board of Education.
Okay, it was a pleasure to meet you all, but I've heard you start this thing off with doing the most. I want all of y'all just do the damn right thing. I'm sick. I'm sick. You know, I'm 70 years old. I've been watching you politicians for seven decades. And, you know, we hear this day in and day out. We do. And we hear you. We hear the promises. We hear the heartfelt gestures that you make. But when are you going to start just doing the right thing? Just do the right thing. Not for the money, not for the political press that you're going to get. Do the right thing.
This question is for those of you who are running for the Board of Education. As a parent of an 11th grader who at one point I had to remove him from school because of he was being bullied, I just want to know what are the plans that you're going to put in place, or even the plans that are already in place to combat bullying within our school system?
Let me answer that for you. Some people will tell you there's no such thing as bullying in school. Don't believe it. It is true. So Burke County public school system has put several things into place for bullying. One thing is that children must tell each other and stand up for each other. Children must tell teachers. We have students that are using cameras, and so in bathrooms and things of that nature. They have instituted cameras in certain places which will tell you exactly what's going on when it cannot be seen. There is an action plan. There are laws, there are rules that are being followed and adhered to in the school system. Nobody can do anything if nobody tells anybody. And I hope that is suffice, but if you talk to me later, I can give you some more specifics or point you in the right direction.
I need to speak on that also. The plans that I will implement into that is that it's widely known the bullying is going on in schools. But I really didn't understand a child will report it to the teacher and there's nothing done. You know, that's when it really is bad. And when it's bad, it's bad. Teachers, and let me back up a minute. I also followed that teachers can't intervene in a fight. To me, that is wrong. You don't want that fighting to cause someone to be a death. So I would have to intervene in that and put something in place because teachers need to stop it. You can't let a fight go on until these kids get tired. So teachers need to be involved in that, and I would implement something to handle that. Thank you.
I didn't think you asked me for my implementation. I thought you asked for what was going on in the school system already. Okay. Talk about the other.
give Mr. Preston a chance to answer that question as well.
Yes. Speaking on that, when the kids walk into the classroom, they should be taken from them right away. There are slots that they can be put there. In cases of emergency, then they should only be able to accept their cell phone for use. But other than that, once they enter their classroom, they should be stored away.
Hello, everybody. Okay. My name is Ezekiel Lynch, and I am a student that go to Burke County High School. Okay, so this is a question for the board members, and I'm speaking on behalf of the board members. So, let's say the Board of Education, you guys say that student voice matters, right? Okay, so why does, if a child in the 9th grade come up to the superintendent or the assistant superintendent and they bring their thoughts, and the superintendent and the assistant superintendent, they tell them stay in a child's place? But as a adult, you guys sit, have meetings, and you guys say that student voices should be heard. It shouldn't be just y'all voices should be heard. It shouldn't be y'all make decisions. It should be kids. We should have a circle to form information and bring a new academic success on so that way the kids can success. Not just you guys standing up for us and not giving us a proper way to stand up for us.
I hear you, sir. And there is the Student Advisory Board, and maybe if you can become a part of that, because I hear your voice, and I think you will be a great asset to it. Now, why adults that you have mentioned have said to you, stay in a child's place, I don't know. I don't know what that conversation was. I would not even expound on that. But I would suggest that you become a part of the student advisory. I also want to share with you that it's been one of my goals is to place a student on the school board. And for that sake of having a voice, just hadn't gotten around to it yet. But that's one of the things that I've been working on. A voice like yours will go volume.
Okay, and also with that, there's students that's on the advisory council right now. And they go to the meetings, and the superintendent, the student, I'm not going to say a name, but the student, he has got documentation. He has made a Google Docs with teachers. But as a Board of Education, the teachers can only do so much, because if the teachers try to stand up for what's right, the board, they'll come after their job. So, not only there's people that's on the student advisory council of the board, and they just wrote a letter to Dr. Williams last week and said that they want to be off of it because their voice is not being heard.
Thank you so much, because you're sharing information that I'm not aware of. And for you to share that information, that tells me that you do have a voice that matters.
Very well said, young man. I had the privilege of talking with him a couple of weeks ago, and he blew my mind. Because before I said anything else to him, I said, why not you getting your education stronger than what it is now? Because one day you can take my place. That's just how strong his mind is. This kid is amazing. And when I was talking to him, I thought he was in the 11th or 12th grade. And then he said, I'm only in the 9th. Wow. A kid with this magnitude of mind that can talk like that. Actually, I wanted to say he's talking better than I am. But just keep up the good work. And take it to another level. Never let no one tell you no. Never listen to someone say you can't, because you can if your mind and your heart will take you.
I'm gonna make this real quick. What's your name? Ezekiel. And how old are you? See, it's young people like that that make me glad we have an age requirement to run for governor. I want to say he's one of many. I go to high school football games, high school baseball games, high school soccer games, junior high volleyball games. Those kids aren't going to win me an election. We have to make them feel heard. They matter more than we do. I get it, I'm only 36, so laws that are passed now are going to affect me, but the people that are passing our laws right now in Congress, it's not going to affect them. It's going to affect them. You are why I'm doing this. That was amazing. You gave me chills. I thought you were a senior or junior too. I just want to say keep it up. And no matter what happens in this primary or this general election, I'm going to keep going because of you. It's not about Republican or Democrat. It's about Americans coming together and speaking the truth. And you've got a dang good voice.
Good afternoon, good morning. My name is Anna Laura Howard Stevens. And to the Board of Education, my question is, are you working toward putting prayer back into the schools? Because when America ruled prayer out of the schools, America has been going downhill ever since. And until America train up a child in the way they should go, when they are old, they will not depart. And I started the school in a church, and here I am today in a church, not knowing that I was going to be here today. In a church, the Fairfield Baptist Church down by the branch, Miss Griffin, and we had prayer every morning, and you had to say a Bible verse, and that word of God is quick, is powerful, and is sharper than any two-edged sword. And where we are now as a people, we are in spiritual warfare. And the devil that come to steal, kill, and to destroy, he don't care no more about the black man than he do the white man, the straight man or the gay man, Democrat, Republican, or no-crat, believer or non-believer. He come to steal, kill, and to destroy. And until we lift up that name Jesus, when Jesus said, if I be lifted up from the earth, I will draw all men unto me. And then when Jesus came on this earth and Satan met him in the wilderness, and what did he say? Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God. And when he saw, he said, now I'm not going to leave y'all comfortless in this world. I'm going to send the comforter, which is the Holy Ghost. He shall be with you and in you. And because of that, woe be unto me if I don't tell you about the Holy Ghost. At 80 years old, graduated from Waynesboro High and Industrial School in 1964. And here I am today, not knowing that I was going to be here. But Becky Rafter called me, and we drove from Atlanta this morning.
My.
And here we are.
I thank you for that sermon. I needed that. We all needed that, I think. You asked the question, what are we going to do about prayer in school? Well, the kids are giving us 60 seconds of silence. In that time, that's all they're given because it was taken out. We know why it was taken out. During that 60 seconds, I hope they're praying. But I tell you what happens in the boardroom before any board meeting begins. There is prayer. Regardless of whether the law says we can't, that's one sacrifice we are making. And until we as a people work together to make some change in things of that in that arena, then we will continue with the 60 seconds. And during that 60 seconds, hopefully Mama, Daddy has taught them what to do, and that is to pray.
Yes, I have a question for...
Hold on, we're going to give Mr. Preston a chance to respond as well.
Yes, my mom and dad always taught me prayer goes a long way. And it really bothered me when that was taken out of the school. But at the time, it was nothing I can do because I wasn't on the board. I wasn't thinking about the board. I was thinking about getting my kids to learn the word of Jesus Christ. That was my priority, my kids. So concerning the board, yes, we need prayer back in school. Not a 30-second or 60-second closure. Prayer, where they hear the Lord's name is called by the teacher, or even one of the kids saying it. That's where we need. That's what we need. Thank you very much.
I want you to understand it was not the school system that took prayer out of school. You know how prayer was taken out, right? We know it was a law, right? We know who the lady was, right? We don't know where the lady is now, right? So that rule and law should be changed. Amen? Amen.
Yeah, my question is for the congressional candidates. I'm Betty Ann Hart. The 12th district is a large district. It's a multifaceted district. We got farmers, we got plant vogel, we have small industry, we have school systems that are governed by the laws, we have people who are on social services benefits, we have housing issues, we have so many issues. So we also have a lack of people who are addressing those issues. That's on a national level in the South, our southern communities. You talk about respect and being heard and actually representing the interest of the 12th district. I'd like to know your ideas. What are some of your priorities? We heard veterans, and of course veterans are, we respect and we understand what needs to happen. But based on your assessment, what do you think are some of the problems, the most pressing problems facing the 12th district, and how would you address those? How would you make it so that our district really gets some respect and really is heard? And that's both the candidates.
So thank you for the question. Check, check, check. Can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you for the question. So a part of what we do as congressional elected officials, number one, we write laws, we introduce laws, we co-sponsor laws, we vote on laws. The second part of what we do is the budget. The Congress holds the purse string. And then the third thing that we do is we have oversight over all of the different government agencies. And so really it starts with the legislation. Currently, there are numerous laws, there's numerous legislation that is just sitting. Laws that will help fund rural areas, help with health care in our rural areas, where that's one of the areas that we're struggling in. If you're pregnant, there's no prenatal care. You have to travel an hour to 45 minutes to an hour for prenatal care. If you go into labor and delivery, you have to travel 45 minutes to an hour in our rural areas. God forbid you have an appendicitis where you need an emergency surgery. We have none of those access to health care in that capacity in our rural areas. But there is legislation that's sitting, but the problem is we don't have the votes. That's the truth. There are people there that are advocating, not our congressman, because we have 55,000 veterans. He voted against the PACT Act. The PACT Act gives Vietnam War veterans, gives Desert Shield, Desert Storm, OIF, and OEF veterans access to health care, and presumed their service-connected disabilities where they didn't have to fight for their disability. And our current incumbent, he voted no against that. He voted no against ARPA funds. So no, it's not necessarily him, but when it comes down to the totality of legislation and laws that are there that could pass, we just don't have the votes. And that's why it's important that in November we get out and we turn out the vote so we can take back the House and the Senate. So we now have the number of votes that we need. The budget should reflect the people. Right? So we currently don't have a legislator who's there advocating for our rural communities, for health care, for education, for our farmers. Yeah, they invited them yesterday for a photo op. Hoorah, right? But at the end of the day, we don't have someone there who's advocating for the things that the people that Georgia 12s need. And so it's the legislation that we can introduce. It's the budget, making sure that the budget looks like the people and that the budget is not there to help the wealthy continue to get wealthy. And then it's the oversight over the various agencies. They're trying to dismantle the Department of Education. My union sister is an attorney. She represents employees there in the Department of Education. So it's knowing the different departments, understanding that we don't cut EPA by billions of dollars because they are the ones that oversee our water, right? They're the ones that govern these data centers.
All right, Ms. Smith, thank you so much.
I thank you for recognizing me in your answer, in your question. You said respect. Tracy George will bring the respect back home. As simple as that. What has been lacking is a connectivity to you, the voter, where you don't feel your voice is heard, as Ezekiel was already saying. The current incumbent, he refuses to do a town hall. I've led over 100 people directly into his office asking then just for that. You then need someone such as myself. When I walk into a room, you already sense it. I change the atmosphere. I demand respect is then brought back home with me. I go and I find Rick Allen where he is. I've challenged him on a numerous of sidewalks. Go look at the social media. You see he's flustered in the face because he knows I'm coming, and I'm coming with you all with me. I've heard your voices. I've listened. I already know, and we know what Congress women and men do. I sit and we build the legislation that you all want us to seek out change. I then will also work across the aisle because we know that solely right now who is in charge in Congress. However, I understand collaborative leadership and how to get things done and passed. I also understand that in those bills and legislations that are written, there are prongs and points. They can go on for pages and pages and pages, and you can slip something in there right there that is going to bring respect back home to you, the voter. Tracy George is looking for your vote on May 19th. Become your next United States Congresswoman for right here in the 12th District. Again, we're bringing the respect back. Thank you for acknowledging me in your question.
Hi, I'm Natalie Harrington. I want to acknowledge that Georgia 1 has taken on the responsibility of teaching our residents key election terms, the differences between different elections, and the offices that we're all voting for and what the responsibilities of those offices are. Because we believe that informed voters will vote. So to our two candidates that are running for the solicitor's office, can you please tell us if you have plans or something is already in place to teach the residents of Burke County about the responsibilities of the solicitor's office?
Great question. Thank you so much. Is this thing on? Okay. All right. I'm Andy Palmer, once again running for Burke County State Court Solicitor. In 2020, I started a People's Law School. People's Law School was paid for out of my pocket as a private attorney. We invited the community out. We invited the community out. We had a huge turnout, and what we did was we taught the community about what it meant to be an attorney. We taught the community about that you guys can represent yourselves in the court of law. Right? We taught the community about what the criminal process was and how to navigate it. We taught the community about their rights. So as your Burke County State Court Solicitor, the first thing that I'm going to do is what I've always done, is I'm going to teach the community what the solicitor does. I am going to post our standards online for pretrial intervention, for pretrial diversion. Guys, take a second. Google Burke County State Court Solicitor, go on the website. You're not going to see anything about our pretrial intervention program. You're not going to see anything about first offenders treatment. You're not going to see anything about accountability courts. Now go to my website, andypalmerlaw.com, which is linked to my campaign page, and you will see the initiatives that I intend to implement. Guys, the community can't take advantage of pretrial intervention because they don't know it exists. They can't take advantage of the accountability courts because they don't know that it exists. As your Burke County State Court Solicitor, I am going to stand out front in that office. I am going to post our standards for pretrial intervention. I'm going to post our standards for accountability courts. There are attorneys that won't practice law in Burke County State Court. Get that. There are private attorneys that won't practice law in Burke County State Court. There's a person in here this morning who has a family member that is unrepresented on a case in Burke County State Court because they don't qualify for the public defender's office, and no private attorneys other than me will take cases in Burke County State Court. That is because we need a solicitor that is out front, a solicitor that posts transparent guidelines for pretrial diversion, for accountability court, so that our community members won't get their license suspended on a DUI, right? A driving while license suspended charge should be dismissed after our community members get their license reinstated. It shouldn't be a plea to a lesser charge. It should be dismissed, okay? And it needs to be dismissed quickly. We got a backlog from 2020 in that state court that the solicitor should be handling. People in bench warrant status
All right,
for
Mr. Palmer,
traffic
thank
tickets. Andy Palmer for Burke County State Court Solicitor, from Burke for Burke.
All right, Mr. Franklin.
All right, so I believe your question was, what can the solicitor's office do to help students and children become more aware? Okay, yeah, so through the school, sometimes children come and attend. The judge will show them around, take them to his chambers, show them the ins and outs of a courtroom and how it works. We've had, I don't know if you know Trishelle Peace Nichols. When she first went to law school, she did an intern. She couldn't find anywhere to intern. We took her in. She worked with our office. We were able to give her good credentials so that she could attain the credits for her law school where she was attending. But we can offer programs like through Bridge and the Optimist Club. There's multiple ways that we can let the community know what we do. And Kenya Sullivan, she is very, very active in community awareness and helping to educate our children. And Kenya, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done. But there are things in place. And when you talk about suspended license charge, well, I'm not going to get into the actual politics of how the office is ran, but I think the question is more of how we can get the community more involved, and I think we do it through programs like Bridge, the Optimist Club, churches, and so on.
Okay, we are no longer taking any more questions from our floor here. We're going to go ahead and give each candidate one last closing statement before we wrap up. 1 minute, please.
Hey guys, Andy Palmer, Burke County State Court Solicitor. Like I said, man, it's so good to be in this community, where I was born, where I was raised, graduated 2009, never left this community. Running for your state court solicitor because I am going to do the most good. That postcard that I gave out, flip it over, you'll see my community involvement. Served on the board for Boggs Academy, the founding board for the YMCA here, started the People's Law School, right? I do wills, pro bono wills for people that are low income in my county. We're going to do wills clinic this summer, right? Be on the lookout for the initiatives that I have always done. It'll be posted in the paper. You'll be seeing me throughout the community, right? It's because it's about doing the most good. I don't need a check from that solicitor's office. God has blessed me. Those monies are going to be put right back into our community, right? The most good. Ezekiel, see me after. I guarantee you're going to be boots on the ground this summer, right? You're going to have money coming from my law firm
Mr. Palmer.
because you
Mr.
are the
Smith,
future.
next.
Andy Palmer, Burke County State Court Solicitor.
Again, my name is Soretta Smith. I'm running to be your next Congresswoman. I want to just highlight, one of the things that people say is what separates you from the other candidates. I believe that my experience as a United States Army veteran, having served, I'm certainly in tune with the things that are happening in our country as it relates to our veterans. I can speak to those issues. I have been a former city council member. I understand the workings of government. I'm a union member. I have been lobbying our current representative for 15 years, traveled to D.C. I understand what it means to work bipartisan. That's what our union does. We have been towing the line. We have been holding the line to ensure that this government has not completely overthrown and taken over in the manner that it would like to take over. I bring all of those experiences and all of those life experiences. I tell people that I ran my first campaign when I was in sixth grade.
Mr. Smith, Mr. Franklin next.
I just want to thank everybody for the opportunity for having me here today to tell everybody who I am and what I do. And as I said, I've been the solicitor since 2015. I've worked very hard to help the people of Burke County, and I will continue to do so. Thank you for your time, and I sure could use your support come election time. Thank you.
Good morning again. Tracy George, running for United States Congress. I will become the next Congresswoman from the Georgia 12th District, bringing the respect back home. It is then the proven dedicated leadership that you all have seen and will work directly for you. I thank you already for your vote on May 19th. It's going to require our entire participation of getting this vote out. Thank you so very much.
Once again, I'm Larry Preston. It would be that God would continue to lead me and give me commitment to do what's right for kids. And a no means no. It won't never change to a yes under no circumstances. Thank you very much. I need your support.
Okay, thank you. And you all can exit the stage now. We're going to allow our first group to come back up, the gubernatorial candidate, Ken Yasgur, and then we have our state school superintendent candidate, Dr. Anton Anthony, also Alexia Payne, candidate for Superior Court Judge. If you all could please come back up, we're going to allow you all to have one closing statement as well. Keep in mind, you'll just have 1 minute. Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
But my name is Dr. Anton Anthony. Please remember, I'm not running based on theory. So you go to school and you learn some things to get a couple degrees. I'm not running on theory. I'm running on practical knowledge. I'm the only candidate running for state superintendent with the experience of being an educational leader. There's another candidate that we have that's an assistant principal, and another one that we have on the Democratic side that's actually a PTA president, really anything to do with education. But at the end of the day, I'm the only one to stand before you that's fighting for our kids, real supports, real systems in place. My name is Dr. Anton Anthony. I would love to earn your vote today. Thank you. Was that 60 seconds? I wasn't practicing on that.
All right,
Just want to say again, thank you all for having me. I'm just going to finish by saying, again, what makes me the most qualified is I'm going to leave here. I'm driving back to Savannah. I'm going to change for work, going to Tybee Island, where I bartend. I meet so many people while bartending and serving who live the same lives we all do. I'm not in this for money. I'm not in this for fame. I'm in this because I genuinely believe that we are better together. I've served with Republicans, I've served with Democrats, but most of my friends in the military don't vote because we're just a talking point. That's all we are. But I've been in a firefight with one of my buddies who's very far left, I'm pretty center right. But we've been shot at by the Taliban together. Just because somebody votes different than me doesn't mean that we're enemies. My enemy has shot at me. If I have the honor of being the next governor of Georgia, the first thing I want to focus on is unity, because we are America.
Thank you so much.
In absence of Commissioner Terry Lodge Kelly, she had a speaking engagement that conflicted with the schedule. But if you live in District 2, we are asking that you support her in her run to keep her seat for District 2 County Commissioner, where she has served as the chairman of the Board of Commissioners, and now she's the assistant chairman. Terry Lodge Kelly. Thank you.
All right, and that concludes our candidates for this morning. Thank you all so much for coming out. I just want to take this time to remind you of elections that are coming up. We have the general primary election that's happening May 19th this year. We also have general primary election nonpartisan runoff. That's happening June 16th. Then we have the general election special election. That's November 3rd. And then we have that runoff for that special election, or excuse me, for that general election happening on December the 1st. Remember, you can find all these dates online, and it's very important to make sure that you are registered to vote in this year's elections. You can do that just by going to the My Voter Georgia page. And I found that with just a simple Google search. So again, thank you all so much for being here and taking the time out to hear from these candidates. It's very important that you attend as many of these forums and these debates as possible before these elections come up. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. And before we leave, I just want to make sure on behalf of Georgia One, these are candidate forums and meeting town halls that we do quarterly. So if you would like more information on participating, but also to make sure that that local race is featured, or you would like to come speak if you're running, please go to our website at gawan.org or email us to be part of our newsletter at info@georgialikethestatewand.org, so that we can make sure that you get on a database so that you can find out more information and more activities and more events and community town halls and meetings that we're having. Also, lastly, I want to make sure that we
District 1, Dr. Ruby Saxon Miles is seeking her seat again on the school board. So we ask that you also remember her when you're in the polls if you're from District 1.
Thank you all so much. If you're not too tired, at 2 o'clock, we're going to be at the Burke County Library. We're also doing a film screening, and we're going to be talking about environmental issues, but as well as civic engagement. We would love to invite you all out. It's free and open to the public, so please come out at 2 o'clock.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to let you know, and now, at Neely Grove Stillmead Church, they're holding a voter registration drive. That's from 11 to 2. So if you know anybody that needs to register to vote, please send them to Neely Grove Stillmead Church.
And thank you to all of our candidates. Thank you to you, community stakeholders, participants, residents, for coming out. You could have been doing many things on a Saturday morning, but you chose to come out and be with us. Thank you all, and continue to have a great day.